Welcome back to Steel and Vance. This was Wednesday morning, and there was not a lot of warning, Lynda, that the city had made the plan, had made the call to follow the advice of Karen Fry, the fire chief, who had a long time ago said, you know what, this is not safe. We need to remove these remaining tents down on East Hastings Street.
In fact, you talked about the warning she said last July. So we're pushing almost a year that no, these tents are coming down, they're a fire hazard. So in fact, there was a lot of warning. I think the people there thought they're not going to act on it.
But from the press release to it happening, I meant that there wasn't a lot of warning in that the city of Vancouver, Ken Sim, the mayor, had said, that's it, we're doing it, we're clearing the street, get ready.
Let me just say, nobody wants this to happen. Definitely not the people who have had their tents tossed out and are trying to figure out where we're going to go. The VPD does not want to be there. The city has got a problem on its hands. It can't fix quickly. There's going to require probably billions more dollars. So this is an unfortunate situation, and the VPD has just been under fire for a couple of weeks, if not longer. So last Friday, there was an International Trans Right Day of Visibility at one of the local parks, and it turned into this. Hey, get the All right, so you saw the man who was getting sort of grabbed at the chest. His name is Billboard Chris.
Yeah, he was who I was talking about in the hot headlines. This person who, if you followed along on his social media, you would be appalled at the behavior and what he's wearing, the intolerance in his sign. He's got the selfie stick with his camera rolling, like he's just trying to make something happen in a place, in a space that's supposed to be celebrating a part of society that has existed forever.
And he calls himself a child protection advocate.
Oh, please.
And then he's just agitating, and not just against the people who are there to celebrate the trans community, also going after the police. There was one female officer in particular. They were just going hard after her. Watch this. Honestly, I'd want to.
Crazy. Yeah.
Excuse me, did you just say he came here to incite violence by forcing his opinion on people?
Yeah. Yes.
You think he came here to incite violence because they got offended by his sign?
When you talk to someone and scream at someone and
he
put
didn't
your
scream
face,
at all.
Yes,
he didn't. They put their face in his face. What is wrong with you?
Okay.
So are you saying the guy who
How on earth did you become a police officer? She is literally sitting here saying that Billboard Chris is inciting violence by standing there with his sign. Is that really your position?
Okay, sir. We're done with this conversation.
Yeah, I thought so.
I hate to use anything from Rebel Media.
No.
But did that just because,
to
me, it shows the kind of restraint that a police officer has to have when you're being aggressed by someone else who's clearly a bit of a nutter. And so they were saying in the one part of the video you didn't see, they were saying, you've got an arrest and this guy was assaulted. And she said, well, do you have evidence of that? He said, yes, I've got video. And she said, well, let me see it. No, I can't show it to you because I'm filming you right now. And I thought, honestly, if it was me, Jody, I could not be a police officer because I would be inclined to tell them to, or what have you. But anyway, in all these situations, you have police doing a very difficult job, often in the center of people who are super angry, and they're trying to keep the peace, and they don't want to be there either.
No, and the people around the noisy, intolerant, homophobic, transphobic piece of this particular story are trying to get that police officer fired. It is ridiculous to see how somebody with a camera standing in the face being aggressive like that. How did you become a police officer? That's where you go? That's where you default to? That is ridiculous. We have lost decorum. This is not who we are. This should not be normalized. That is not okay.
Well, and that's why we've seen a lot of people going after the drag queen story time and, oh my God, they're grooming children and what have you. We actually had one of our own MLAs, Chandra Spencer Herbert.
Herbert, yeah.
Did I just say that wrong?
You did, you backwards dip, but it's okay.
Anyway, who actually got up and spoke and put forward a motion saying, let's protect this community.
Watch this.
I dressed in drag for high school in grade 12, and I must say for me that was an accomplishment. Because I've been called a girly man, a girly boy, targeted with misogyny and sexism, because that's a lot of what this is it's targeting men because they seem too much like women, and if you're a man and you don't like women, we'll attack you for being too much like a woman. Another weird, confusing thing that shouldn't exist, but unfortunately does.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, and good for you. It's crazy that we're at this point in time where people are at each other's throats instead of just trying to come closer together and be more understanding and tolerant.
And we're going to teach you a little bit about being accepting of others. Because coming up later in the show, we're going to welcome Crow Kean to the program, a Canadian transgender male model who's actually making history in a really cool way. He's taking the fashion world by storm.
Love it. And straight ahead, the NHL is taking heat over players, kiboshing pride events. But what about its Putin problem? The NHL does not want to talk about that cozy relationship, but our next guest does. Criminologist Mark Kirsten joins us when we come back.